In the late 1970s, rumors were spreading of an alien craft being spotted flying over the New Mexico desert. The rumors held that lightning struck this UFO, leading it to crash, killing the aliens inside it. People claim that in the UFO crash a living alien was discovered, and that the US Army has kept the alien at a secret base, and some people believe that till now, the alien is imprisoned at a top-secret base and that the US Army is trying to reverse engineer alien technology and research on alien life. But this is happening at a top-secret location, Area 51. Since the late 1940s, Americans have been fascinated by a mysterious region in Nevada, known as Area 51. The question is, what exactly goes on at Area 51? Area 51. The Air Force has recently made public an archive of UFO reports and investigations. Are there any alien remains in Area 51? Friends, Area 51 is actually a US military facility found in the middle of a desert, miles away from the closest cities. Going there, trespassing, and going inside the facility is absolutely not allowed for people. Outside, you'd spot such signboards. Photography of this area is prohibited. In case of any suspicious activity here, it would be met with deadly force. There are repeated warnings on the signboards. So, what's in there? Before that, I would like to remind you about red subscribe button, which is no more red, to watch more interesting videos on the Macula. So, what's in there? There was an interesting incident a few years ago involving Area 51. In June 2019, Joe Rogan invited Bob Lazar on his podcast. Joe Rogan is a very famous podcaster, and Bob Lazar is a cult figure who believes in things like UFOs. He claimed to have deeply studied flying saucers and the Area 51. He claims that he was a researcher in Area 51. There, he researched alien technology, and he was tasked with reverse engineering alien technology and improving our modern technology using that. This project was to back engineer the alien craft. I went through the hangar door, and inside the hangar door was the disc, the flying saucer that I worked on. Area 51 first is in the middle of a desert. There's nothing else for a long distance. A 250 kilometers long highway goes through this desert, but you won't even find a gas station on this highway. In the summer mornings, the temperature here is above 40 degrees Celsius, and the only thing in this desert near Area 51 is a small village, Rachel. The population of this village was 54. As of 2019. Not 54,000 or 5,400, only 54. The reason why this area is so isolated is that Area 51 is on the largest government-controlled land in America, and this area is spread over more than 12,000 square kilometers. Beside this facility is another restricted military facility, the Nevada test site, where America had carried out testing of nuclear weapons during the 1950s to the 1990s. It is essential to understand the history of Area 51. And in history, there was the Cold War. So many events in recent history, all over the world, are related to the Cold War. There's no end to it. Area 51 was actually created during the Cold War, when there was rivalry between America and the Soviet Union. This was created as a testing and development facility for aircraft. This is why in the 1950s, the most important spying aircraft in America's history were tested in Area 51. Since such critical military weapons were being tested here, obviously, this area was kept in secrecy. From the outset, the outside world knew very little about this area. In 1954, American President Dwight D. Eisenhower demanded a secret location where they could start a high-altitude reconnaissance program. The story of top-secret reconnaissance aircraft really begins midway in the 20th century. In the darkest days of the Cold War, two officers from the CIA were tasked with finding a location where they could carry out the tests to develop spy planes that could be useful against the Soviet Union's nuclear weapons. In her book Area: An Uncensored History of America's Top-Secret Military Base, Annie Jacobsen claims that how she found a secret base in the middle of a dried-up lake bed in Nevada. It was a vast dry lake bed, known as Groom Lake today. It is known by another name, Area 51. This was already a classified area where the government was testing nuclear weapons. In Area 51, spy aircraft were being made. Two spy aircraft stood out extraordinarily. The U-2 spy airplane, which looked like this. When the Soviet Union tested their first atomic bomb in 1949, it was almost impossible for America to find out what was happening there, because they did not have satellites. In 1953, President Eisenhower launched a covert CIA program, Project Aquatone. An airplane was to be built on a $22 million budget that could fly 4,800 kilometers without refueling, carrying 320 kilograms of cameras with it, and flying at an altitude of 21,000 kilometers. An aircraft that would go undetected on radar, and by anti-aircraft missiles. This is how their U-2 spy plane, one of the most important spy planes in America's history. Over the next few years, America was largely successful on spying over the Soviet Union, using this plane. But on 1st of May 1960, a U-2 aircraft was taken down by a missile. CIA pilot, Francis Gary Powers, was shot out of the sky in his U-2, his aircraft destroyed. Years of hard-won secrecy for the US intelligence community were wiped out in a month. America was forced to admit that they were spying. But the military was pressured by the government to develop a plane that could not be shot down, that could fly faster, and be more secretive. This was the birth of the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. That is still the fastest flying aircraft. Its max speed is 3,400 kilometers per hour, and can fly at an altitude of 24,000 meters. So fast and so high, that there's no chance of it being shot down. It was very important to keep this crucial plane a secret, especially during the ongoing Cold War between America and the Soviet Union. So how could they have tested the plane while keeping it a secret from the world? The CIA used UFOs. The conspiracy theory of UFOs flying around. In the language of the US Department of Defense, these are unidentified aerial phenomena. CIA gave wind to these conspiracy theories. The UFOs being spotted around the sky, neither do they deny the claims, nor do they reveal the truth. The weird-looking, fast-flying, unidentified objects. Were they alien flying saucers? This proved to be a good way for the CIA to keep this program a secret. They let people believe that they were alien flying saucers. No one would thus find out that they were US's top-secret military aircraft. In the 1970s, the rumors of the UFOs re-emerged, because the Blackbird SR-71 aircraft were being tested during the 1970s. The SR-71 roared skywards with maximum afterburner thrust. A legendary pilot was taking the first ever flight in a legendary airplane. What were the actual facts? We found out in 1994. But even after knowing the facts, some people still fanned the conspiracy theories. Area 51 being associated with aliens. The reason for that is said to be conspiracy theorists like Bob Lazar. In 1989, he claimed that he worked in Area 51's Sector 4, S4. He claimed to have worked on an alien spacecraft as contracted by the government. But today, several credible, neutral experts believe that he is making up things. But these military aircraft such as U-1 and SR-71, they flew at 12,000 meters and even 18,000 meters. In fact, SR-71's maximum altitude was 26,000 meters. They were normally tested a little before sunset. So, think about it, friends, when these unconventional-looking aircraft were flying at such a height, while the sun was about to set, and the sun's rays would shine on it, it would look like the aircraft is flying. With these flying at such speed, people will think that they are UFOs. In most UFO sightings, this is what happens. Military drones, military decoy flares, or any unknown air infrastructure developed by the military are mistaken by people to be UFOs. The term UFO stands for unidentified flying objects. No one said that they were aliens. Unidentified can mean any unidentified object. Since these spy planes were tested in and around Area 51, it's obvious why Area 51 came to be associated with aliens. The US Air Force Project Blue Book investigated several UFO sightings. Wherever people claimed to have spotted UFOs, they noted the times and cross-checked them with their flight records. They saw that the flight records matched. In the late 1950s and 1960s, majority of the UFOs reports were eliminated like this. Conspiracy theorist Bob Lazar, who claims to have been hired by the government to investigate alien technology, it was revealed that he had fabricated even his educational background. A mysterious explosion that was seen above a Russian city. A first-hand account of some unidentified flying object spotted above Azerbaijan's capital, Baku. Today, the US government doesn't refer to these as UFOs, because of the heavy association of the term with aliens. Instead, the US government now uses the term WAP. Unidentified aerial phenomena. In December 2020, when the US government released the COVID stimulus, at the same time, the US government directed the National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense to release all the records they had on the WAPs to the public. No other argument remains with the conspiracy theorists now. Because the US government wants to release the data they have on UFOs and WAPs. In April 2020, 3 videos were released by the US Pentagon. The US Department actually acknowledged that the videos which were leaked in 2007 and 2017 were real videos. In August 2020, the Defense Department created a WAP task force to detect, analyze, and catalog the WAPs that are spotted. Because they can pose a threat to the national security of the US. As you have understood by now, we do not know about all the UFOs that were spotted. There have been several such incidents in the last 5 to 10 years, where the US pilots observed the UFOs. The only difference is that they do not claim that the UFOs are built by aliens. Even now, Area 51 is an area where next-generational aircrafts are tested. Today, Area 51 has become a global sensation. Not only for Americans, but for people all over the world. And has become a good source of tourism for the American state of Nevada. In 1996, the state of Nevada renamed the highway to Extraterrestrial Highway. They decided that since people wanted to believe in this conspiracy theory and go there, they would use it for tourism. But one thing is for certain: if you even go near it, do not try to enter Area 51. Do not trespass, it is still a military facility. If you try to, they will arrest you. A Dutch YouTuber Thijs Granzier tried to trespass into Thijs Granzier, due to which he had to spend 3 days in jail. And identified themselves as YouTubers, who acknowledged that they saw the new trespassing signs at the Mercury Highway entrance. And went in anyway. They have been charged with trespassing. I hope you liked this video. If you did, You can watch more such mystery-related videos by clicking on this playlist. See you in the next video. Thank you very much. And don't forget to subscribe.